Hi, I'm Melanie Yates, and I'm the home decor editor of BestProducts.com, and today we're going to be arranging flowers for a Mother's Day bouquet. We have two lovely bouquets here provided by our friends at FTD, which is a gifting company that's actually been around since 1910. And I'm putting together a little insider info for you on how to set these up, make sure they last longer. I got in touch with their lead floral designer, Andrea and Sal, for just a couple of pro tips on choosing a bouquet and how to go about arranging it. So Andrea says that the most important thing to think about when you're selecting a bouquet for your mom is really to make it personal, and an easy way to do that is to start with color. So think about your mom's signature color. Like, what does she have a lot of in her closet? What does she decorate a lot with? Start looking for bouquets that prominently feature that color or a palette around it. And then secondly, think about her favorite type of flowers. So if she has a garden, rose bushes, a hydrangea in her front yard, even a little herb planter, think about just the kind of blooms and greenery that she surrounds herself with. And it's probably a pretty good guess as to what kind of bouquet she would be into. And then also think about what kind of perfume does she wear? What kind of floral notes are in her signature scents? A lot of people associate their mom, have very strong memories of their mom associated with perfume. And so gardenias, roses, lilies, very just beautiful romantic scents are perfect for moms. They really love it. And I know that roses are a popular option. It's easy to default to roses, but try thinking a little bit outside the box. Both of these bouquets actually have roses in them, but slightly different kinds. So they're a flower you can have a lot of fun with and include them more in a medley bouquet rather than like a prominent feature. And if you're really stuck and you just don't know where to start, try matching a bouquet with her personality. Think about, how she moves around in the world. So if she's very elegant and refined, think about soft pastel colors, roses, lilies, even some pastel colored daisies in peach or lavender. Really perfect, lovely for spring too. And then if your mom has a big personality, get some blooms that also kind of match her boldness. So stargazer lilies, any kind of lily, hydrangeas with large clusters of blooms. Those are perfect because not only do they have a large presence, but they fill up a space with like a beautiful scent. They both smell so good. And if your mom is very just cheery and upbeat and just positive, I definitely say go for the multicolor pinks and oranges. Anything with Gerber daisies, sunflowers, fuchsia dianthus, those flat, roughly flowers that are really beautiful. Definitely go for those. Anything that's lively and has a lot of texture.
So this bouquet is perfect for that type of mom, right?
Exactly.
So
it's
colorful.
Multicolor, but at the same time, everything kind of complements each other.
Yeah.
It's really lovely.
Love that.
So these two bouquets that FTD sent us are for two, I'd say, pretty different kinds of moms. Again, this one's very lively, very vibrant. This is called the Brightly Bejeweled Bouquet, and I'm going to be arranging it first. The other one's our Spring Samba Bouquet, and it features a lot of lilies. It's a two-tone bouquet along with all of this greenery that's beautiful, and I'll get to show you a little bit more of that once we get started. And just a quick aside for those who have just suddenly realized that Mother's Day is this weekend, it's best to order florist delivered items by this Saturday, May 7th, very last minute by 2 p.m. Eastern time, to guarantee that they'll be on your mother's doorstep the next day. And FTD works with a large network of local florists and floral retailers to ensure that you're getting a really nice and fresh bouquet no matter where in the country you live. So just make sure you're ordering early to make sure that you're getting the bouquet that you want.
Mark your calendars, everyone.
Exactly. If you haven't done so already, definitely do that because she would love it. It would brighten her entire day. It's a nice little surprise. Okay, so back to this. We're using two mid-sized vases. These both came with these bouquets, but not every bouquet comes with a vase. It just kind of depends on what your needs are and if you know that your mom has extra vases at home. And once you have your loose bouquet, sometimes they'll actually arrive in the vase, but it's good to know how to arrange these, and I'll tell you why a little later. So once you have loose flowers, you are going to want to cut them at a 45-degree angle, about 1 inch from the bottom, just to ensure that the flower is drinking up the most amount of water possible. And so I'm just going to demonstrate here. These have actually been pre-cut, and this one's actually a pretty short bouquet pre-cut, so I'm not going to do too much work on this one. But you do kind of want to leave them on the lengthier side. If you have a mid-sized vase that's about this high, it's safe to keep them actually pretty long. And so I'll give you more details on that later. A couple of other pointers. Again, a lot of florists, and FTD especially is wonderful about this. They remove all of the excess foliage from the bloom. And that's important because extra leaves sitting in the bottom of the glass where the water is, it's just going to get really murky. It might start to smell kind of not great. So you definitely want to remove those before you add your blooms into them. For roses, again, if you're just picking up roses at the florist, they might actually still have thorns on them. These don't. They took the work right out for me, so that's wonderful. Make sure you dethorn your roses for the same reason when you put them into the water. And it's easy to do that. If you're a gardener, an avid gardener, and you have a thorn stripper, use that. If not, just pop them off with the side of your thumb on the flat side of the thorn. So.
But FTT does that for you?
Yep, so these are all already dethorned and ready to go. Perfect, ready to display, really. So it's wonderful and a great last minute option, honestly. So, and speaking of the water and the vase, make sure you fill them with lukewarm water. Maybe just kind of fill it up, set it out, and fill them about halfway, I would say. I think that's a safe bet. Halfway to 3/4 full, lukewarm water, and if it comes with plant food, pour it in and stir it up really, really well. And leave it out. You don't want to put your flowers in boiling water or too cold water. People usually leave this as the very last step. They arrange flowers and then they add the water. Just don't do that. Make sure that they're going into a healthy environment so they can continue to thrive and look beautiful for days to come. So, and with that, we can begin arranging. And just so you know, just kind of to reiterate, these both are from FTD and just in time for Mother's Day. And so they're really vibrant and they're really beautiful. So actually, when picking a bouquet and putting it together, you want to take into account 4 things, according to Andrea. So color, we've actually already covered. You want to think about your mom's favorite color. Done. You want to think about the shape. So the shape corresponds to the kinds of flowers that she likes. So if it's daisies, maybe that's something you want to think about and arrange a bouquet around. As we're actually arranging, size is the first thing you want to keep in mind. So with this brightly bejeweled bouquet, the biggest blooms are actually the centerpiece blooms. They're going to be arranged first. And then from there, we're going to add the just to give you a little background on this bouquet, we have Gerber daisies as the centerpiece, which are really beautiful and lively and vibrant, awesome. We have roses, and we have purple stock and carnations, and then we have green button mums as well, which are really lovely accents.
They're so bright. I love it.
It's a really nice, lively bouquet. So the centerpiece blooms go first, because then you're going to arrange everything around them. So this one has 3 Gerber daisies that have these little supports on them because their stems are fragile. You don't want them to bowl over.
No, we don't.
Followed by the roses, our dethorned roses, very safe for handling. And as you're arranging it, you kind of want to, Andrea says, twist it around. You want to make sure you're getting a good 360 display here. You don't want any sort of off-kilter arrangement happening. No good.
And we have a few questions that came in.
Sure.
So someone's asking, should you ever change the water in the vase if the flowers have been out a while and are still alive?
Yes, you definitely do. it's recommended, and you'll get a range of answers, but it's recommended every other day. If you really want to stay on top of it and make these last as long as they really should, change your water every other day. Same thing, if you have any extra leftover plant food, feel free to add that in. Lukewarm water only.
Love that. And one other question from the Daily Green for those just tuning in. So when is the last day you can order these flowers by so that mom gets them in time for Mother's Day?
You can order these, I believe, Saturday, May 7th is your very last day.
So that's the cutoff.
Yes. The selection may be a little bit different, but you should still be able to find something awesome for your mom on FTD.
Awesome.
Okay, so
this is looking so good.
I'm now onto the accent flowers. So I have arranged it with the stock. The stock's all used up. Now I'm using the carnations as kind of our last little colorful burst in here. And then basically wherever makes sense to put in the extra greenery. And so this will be pretty full. But I can already see, like, this is just, it's super, super cute. And even though it's a small vase, or a small height vase, it's a great centerpiece for a table, kind of almost better than a taller one, because you can leave it there and, you know, it's just beautiful to look at.
This is like what mom will probably want to have on her table for Mother's Day brunch.
I think so.
Keep it for, you know, the rest of the week to remind her of your gift.
Absolutely.
So beautiful.
I think flowers are a really great gift for moms, especially the mom who has everything. If you're wondering what to get the mom who has everything, flowers are perfect.
Flowers make everyone happy.
They do. They do. You can surprise her every single time with what kind of blooms that you're choosing. The vase is also a wonderful gift if you choose a bouquet that comes with this awesome vase. It's actually basically just another gift in of itself. You're killing two birds with one stone. It's awesome. And also another thing about this bouquet is that this brightly bejeweled bouquet actually comes with the vase. It's not always the case with every single bouquet you're going to order, but this one actually comes with it, so it's an awesome little
amazing.
extra.
And Caroline, one of our viewers, is asking how much is this specific bouquet?
Good question. It starts at $42.50 and goes up to $68, depending on, again, the size that you're looking for.
Cool.
And there's a nice little range.
Give this guy a close-up.
Yeah. So I'm kind of just finishing up here. Just going to add a couple little green bits, and then we'll probably move on. But yeah, like I mentioned, size is big, because again, we have the focal point, like the big centerpiece blooms, the roses, the Gerber daisies, and we back it up again with the smaller blooms too, which are pretty much, they're just as essential as the bigger blooms. You wouldn't think so, but I think they add a lot, and they of course add color. And so texture is the fourth element that Andrea mentions. This is rich with texture. We have very smooth, beautiful Gerber daisies, multi-petals, more closed up and very roughly carnations, almost rod-shaped stock, really beautiful, and then of course the roses. And I love the pom poms.
Love it. This is like so the epitome of spring right here.
It is spring.
Spring in a vase.
This is perfect for a really cheery mom who loves color. Who, if you wonder like what her favorite color is, you probably can't think of it because she probably loves them all. And
I love that.
There's a lot of really great balance here, even though there's a lot of color happening.
And we have another question that came in actually. So if the bouquet does not include a vase, do you have any suggestions in terms of vases, maybe jars or bottles?
I definitely think, and especially if you're not super used to arranging flowers, try to go for one that's actually a little bit more narrow at the top. So a lot of them will have like a large base. This gives the illusion of kind of a bigger display than it actually is. If it's narrow at the top, your blooms will be nicely bunched together. A straight cylinder, this actually works for this height, but a straight cylinder, especially a tall one, isn't great because you kind of need to fill it up with a lot of tall blooms. It can get overwhelming quickly. So one that has, this is a great example, but also one that's sort of the inverse of this, that has like a that's wider at the base and smaller at the top, is great for, even if you just have like a very small bouquet, it makes it look a lot more full than it actually is. So that's what I would suggest.
Great, thank you.
Just want to make sure I'm covering all my bases with this one.
Keep checking this out.
So I'm gonna probably just set this off to the side and move our spring samba over here. Actually, I'll reverse that then. So our spring samba bouquet is slightly different. It's made up of Asiatic lilies, fuchsia roses, pink tulips, Matsumoto asters, lovely pink ones here, and then Monte Cristo asters, which look like little daisies.
Those are so delicate.
Very, very cute. And you'll notice that the Asiatic lilies, they're the centerpiece bloom of this bouquet, and it's great to see actually that they're arriving to our office in bud form, because that just means your mom will have more time to enjoy the bloom as it opens. Every single day it's going to look like a new bouquet, and that's awesome. It's awesome to see. And so even though they're not the most the focal point as of now, they will change in a couple of days. It's really awesome to see. This bouquet starts at $40 and goes up to $75, again depending on the size. And this one came with the vase, but if you want to do a smaller size or opt out of the vase, you can as well. Okay, so I'm basically just going to arrange it as I did the last one. And I'm not cutting these, but for the sake of time, but you definitely need to cut at a 45-degree angle, same thing, at the very bottom, just to make sure that they're drinking in the most amount of water possible. Because if you don't do that, you're kind of cutting the lifespan of your bouquet. And you definitely want to make sure it's lasting as long as possible. So a lot of people think that flowers are, you know, they don't last very long. They're kind of just like a frivolous expense, and if you just take care of them like a regular plant, you're gonna get so much more enjoyment out of them. And a lot of people have flowers around their home like all year round. They're wonderful for kind of brightening after the winter months have passed, and as spring kind of starts to blossom, it's a wonderful just reminder of how gorgeous this season can really be. Even if you live in the city as we do, we don't get to see all the greenery all the time.
It's even making such a big difference in this office space.
It really
You know,
does.
having what was once an empty table now full of gorgeous blooms.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you said both of these are available currently on FTD and available in time for Mother's Day?
Exactly.
All
That's
right.
But do not wait.
The sooner the better.
Absolutely, the sooner the better. What's nice about FTD too is that you can also, at different price points, add in chocolates, other vases, other personal notes. And that's awesome. It's great because, especially if you're sending these flowers out remotely and you don't get to be there with your mom in person, it's great to just have the whole package sent to her in one go. It's awesome. It's a really just nice thing to do. Moms love all this personal attention, wonderful stuff. I know my mom does.
It's especially good if you don't live, you know, so close to mom anymore, because then,
That's
you know,
right.
these show up on her doorstep and, you know, right in time for Mother's Day. It's like a personalized touch as if you're right there with her.
Exactly. And it's sweet because she's not expecting anything from you, and you're picking flowers and bouquets for her based on her personality. So it's just an extra added, just a really sweet element.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to balance this out a little bit more with some greens on this side.
And you said this one does come with the vase as well?
Yep, this one comes with a vase, but you have the option of opting out of the vase with this one, in case it does not, in case you have plenty of vases at home.
Now this one looks a lot more green than the last one.
Yeah, we have a lot of foliage here. And I think any sort of bouquet that has tulips, of course these have just natural leaves on them that actually work because they're above the water line. You don't need to remove these. But yeah, there's a lot of green. And then keep in mind, the buds are green too, but in another day or two, they're gonna open up and be beautiful white flowers, and they're gonna smell amazing, although it already smells so good. I love the smell of roses and lilies. It's a perfect combination. It's no wonder that, you know, a lot of perfumeries seek inspiration from these kinds of blooms. It makes perfect sense. They're really lovely. So I'm just kind of doing last little balancing touches to finish out this one. And so yeah, again, very different kind of bouquet for kind of a different mom. We have, I guess, 3 tones here: the greenery, the white lilies, the white asters, and then the pink roses, tulips, and asters as well. So very simplistic. A mom who has a very distinct kind of color palette, distinct style, elegant, appreciates the finer things in life. This kind of bouquet is definitely for her. And it's awesome. I love that there's no hard and fast rule about what kinds of bouquets are appropriate for what kind of mom. It's really, you know, only you know the best. You know your mom the best.
Right.
So you know the kind of bouquet that would make her the happiest.
And they're each beautiful in their own unique way.
Exactly. The heights are different.
Yeah.
And going back to just the main rules, or guidelines I should say, color, completely different color schemes. Size, we have a lot of different kind of scale going on. These, when they bloom, are going to really just shine and be super bold. This one, just the different blooms themselves are super bold and beautiful. The texture is super varied here, and here it's actually kind of nice because we have a lot of smooth texture, combined with a lot of nice, roughly circular texture in the asters. And then, of course, the greens themselves add a nice, like, smoothing texture as well, which is nice. And so, yeah, you can leave these as is once you're all done arranging, and you'll enjoy them for, you know, the 7 to 10 days that they'll be looking fresh and vibrant. However, you can make your bouquet last longer, as I mentioned before, by changing the water every other day. If you want to be like really good about it, you want to make your gift count, do this for your mom if you're with your mom during this time, to change the water, and also take the blooms out and cut them at 45 degrees another ½ inch shorter, which is good. It's good, like this kind of bouquet, even though it's a little on the taller side, it's good to keep them tall and not to cut off a lot of length, because, you know, every other day you want to cut off half an inch to make them last longer, and so the bouquet actually will shrink in size over time if you do that. So it's okay to keep it a little
interesting. So you can even change vases midway through if you wanted to.
Absolutely.
For a shorter vase.
If you feel as though this is now becoming too short for this vase, you can switch it out. If you have this vase on hand, switch it in there. It's perfect. And so also you want to keep these in actually a cool area away from direct sunlight. A little counterintuitive from normal rooted plants, but yeah, putting them in the heat, which is why a lot of flowers are kept in like coolers, basically, just to kind of keep their vibrancy, keep them fresh, and keep them out of the sunlight, which can deteriorate them quicker than you want to. So you don't need to put them in the direct sunlight. You don't need to find a sunny spot for them with all your other plants. And also, really important, you want to keep them away from fresh fruit that's ripening, so your bananas and your apples. Put them on the other end of the counter, because the gases that are given off by ripening fruit actually deteriorate flowers. They don't go together. They just
I'm 100% guilty of that, and I had no idea. That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's
wow.
Like, again, everything you thought you knew about flowers.
Think again.
You don't. What's great is that FTD actually offers a good as gold 7-day satisfaction guarantee on their floral arrangements, which is great. you know, if you can't be there with your mom, you can't see the flowers that she's opening up, it's just good for a little extra peace of mind. It's always good when you're sending anything off. You hope that it comes in the best condition possible. So it's wonderful that they stand behind their product in that way. And they'll either arrive hand delivered, or same day by a local florist, or in a beautiful gift box that's secured with the vase inside. And then one last word on Mother's Day bouquets. When you're picking out flowers for your mom, Andrea notes that you should also take into consideration if she has any allergies. Because the last thing you want to give your mom for Mother's Day is the sniffles, especially if she just got over seasonal allergies. You don't want that. So lilies are actually the biggest culprit of this, as well as daisies and sunflowers, because they give off a lot of pollen. Luckily, gorgeous flowers like orchids, alstroemeria, hydrangea, tulips, iris, and ranunculus, my personal favorite, are very allergy-friendly flowers to send to those who might have allergies. And the scent is a little bit more mild too, because a lot of people are just very sensitive to scent, and they don't need an overpowering scent. Although I'm just the opposite, I love scent. Were there any other questions before we wrap up?
No, but we do have a comment. These are looking great.
Okay, awesome.
So I think we might have some people ordering flowers for Mother's Day for their moms.
Yes, if you aren't already, you definitely need to get on that. Your mom will love it.
Just last reminder, when is the last day to order, did you say?
May 7th.
All right.
Before then, today, if possible, get it done early. Okay, so with that, I again just want to thank FTD for providing these beautiful bouquets. Thank you again to their head floral designer, Andrea Ansel, for just providing these insider tips, a lot of which I didn't even know, so this has been a huge education, so thank you, Andrea. And thank you, viewer, for tuning in. I'm Melanie Yates. I'm the home decor editor of BestProducts.com, and I'll see you next time.